A group of 45 business and community leaders are now back in Siouxland after traveling to the nation's capital to lobby lawmakers for local priorities. Tonight, we're learning more about their meetings with Iowa lawmakers. One of the top priorities, securing millions of dollars to replace and extend the runway at Sioux Gateway Airport to support operations of the 185th Air Refueling Wing. Mission accomplished for at least part of that money needed for the runway project. But what's next? The president of the Siouxland Chamber says, though the process has been slow, he hopes it will continue to move forward.
Clearly, we're going to be back in Washington, D.C. again sooner rather than later to make sure that the authorization that we received back in December of 2025 becomes an appropriation in 2026. So the key for us now is to make sure that we continue to follow through to actually get an appropriation of federal dollars for those infrastructure priorities.
The House committee has approved $38.5 million for the project, and McGowan hopes the House and Senate can agree on prioritizing the full $220 million needed to invest in runways, ramps, and hangars at the airport. The group also presented on a number of other projects that the chamber believes will have widespread community support, including wastewater infrastructure, immigration reform, and funding for housing.